one of your investments you've done at Albion is in the company, in the tech company called Gravitee, which I understand is performing extremely well. It raised like its latest round in May. I understand also they were like French, based in France, and then they, slowly, they actually quickly moved to the US, maybe with some sort of a stop in London. Do you think you could explain the genesis of your relationship with the founders team, how you started, discussing about investment, etc. How you first invested in them, how you followed on later on in them. What you've seen in terms of extraordinary factor within the management team and the company. Yeah, if you could essentially run us through this process, that would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at the high level, so this one was a bit unusual, maybe with where they were when we invested. They had been fully bootstrapped, so I hadn't raised even any capital from angels. So still 100% owned by the team. The founder was introduced by someone we knew in our network. I had actually come across the name through I think a Gartner presentation I had watched on kind of API startups and the API space. So I was genuinely interested in the space, and so yeah, it was interesting then to see them come up for a raise. Like you said, initially founded in north of France in Lille by 4 kind of technical co-founders, and who brought on then Rory as CEO to kind of lead basically the company, who also came from the space, worked at SnapLogic, an big integrations company, and then kind of moved to also the UK before moving to the US. But what we saw in it, I mean, first like great team, great leader, also with Rory as CEO, very kind of strong also technical background of the rest of the guys. It's a very also large space, growing still, strongly at the time, 30%, I think, kind of kick out. So just the whole market on, at the time it was, I think, a few billions already. I mean, 3-4 billion. I think now it's like 8-9 billion, just the API management kind of space, growing very strongly. But at the same time, a very competitive space, quite established with a first wave, of companies like APG that had been acquired by Google, MuleSoft acquired by Salesforce, and other kind of fairly more newer competitor like Kong, also more open source, that became a unicorn in the US. It could have been easy to pass, but based on competition, I think a lot of people did, because
Yep.
it felt like a fairly crowded space. But for us, we saw they had quite a differentiated kind of, positioning, kind of being, truly open source, having this vision also of building more than just a pure API management platform, but a broader kind of API platform. And they've always been, really leading on the vision, on the product vision of democratizing also generally kind of access to API, and building them as a product. So kind of, super interesting. And then you could see it also in the traction, in the numbers. It was, quite fascinating to see this bootstrap company already at a million ARR when we invested, but that were, beating those very large incumbents or bigger companies, very well funded, sometimes displacing them. And again, talking to customers, you could tell they had something quite unique about them in terms of the ease of use and how customers were using them. So it was the combination of all those things that in the end kind of made us invest. Luckily we've been doing great since then for sure, and then raised a Series B from a US growth investors called Riverside, and just raised the Series C, like you said. I've been expanding to the US, growing strongly also there. So so far good story.